IVM.
Hi and welcome to Know Your Kanoon. This is Amber from Corpus Legal and continuing in our conversation with Sandeep regarding our licenses and the compliance area around all those startups that we look to plan in our life as future. Sandeep, welcome back and in conversation again. What we are looking at completely now, for all our listeners is maybe if we can talk about certain license areas, as we said, and the commissioning agents in between, the so-called non-legal commissioning agents who are involved. What is your take on that? Should they be eliminated? Are they a major chunk of cost for any guy who entering into startup? They're duped of money, I've heard a lot of times.
Well, thank you once again, Amber. So let's talk about it. Middlemen is something which is such a pain area for any sector that you go in. You talk about your car licenses, you talk about food licenses, farmers, and the government has been trying to do a lot of things around it so that they can remove these middlemen.
Yeah.
Coming back to the area that we were discussing already, the food business side of it.
Yeah.
A restaurant owner wouldn't, many times, a lot of restaurant owners, let's be honest, are not educated also.
Yeah.
They've probably done, they've cleared their SSC or HSC examinations and they're starting up a business, and at times not even that. You don't expect that person, okay, we are living in India, we are not in Europe or America. You cannot expect that person to go on some government website, read through a lot of English, which he cannot, understand those technicalities, which even a graduate won't at many times, because those are the terms which are hardcore technical terms about license or compliances.
Yeah.
So fire license example that I was talking about, you need to have 2 exits. There are many more other things around it. There's a certain area that you need to have.
Yeah.
You need to see other factors around it, which are the areas which are nearby to you. Many things are attached with various licenses. So simplification of these compliances through some communication is a prime thing that the government needs to do. Government has got departments for various sectors, right? So they need to speak to their respective departments, like startup, business. Now they're focusing a lot on business. So educate your entrepreneurs before taking some regulatory action on them. Let them know that this could happen to you. We all know the latest case which happened about this Kachoriwala case. He was making a ton of money. It's all over the news now.
Yeah.
He was supposed to pay a lot of tax to the government, but that guy in his defense has to say that, what do I have to do? I don't know. Something around that. So before you face all of that, an entrepreneur is somebody, not necessary that you have to be a graduate to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, a rickshaw guy or an auto guy who's just not educated can come up with some business idea and go for it. This is one of the major reasons, Amber, that our country is, we are not producing Googles and we are not producing Microsofts, because, people are scared to grow even. People are scared to do things. It's not cool to be scared from the authorities and the regulatory bodies.
Ease of doing business is a pain.
Ease of doing business is a pain. Nowadays, ease of doing business, this is a term used for foreign investments.
Yeah. Ease of
Let's
doing
put
business.
that second, foreign investments. What are you doing for your kids? Your kid wants to come up with an idea. How are you supporting your kid? You want to kill the person with some regulatory action on it and the business is over. Everything is gone. Educate them. Make it easy for them, because they are the people who are going to generate all that employment for you.
Yeah.
So, ease of doing business.
Ease of doing business. And, rightly said, another hampering factor is the middlemen involved.
Yeah.
And by middlemen, I mean non-commissioning agents, like not being regulated by government. When you say so, like licensing, right? Whether it's an RTO license where you, like I would say, if you want a car license or you want a registration done or you want something in terms of your driving license, then there's an agent sitting there telling you to just pay that money and get it sorted. Now, the amount of money involved in that is various and different depending on the kind of license you need for your appliance. Similarly, whether it's liquor license, as we have rightly reiterated, or whether it is a license with the software industry, which I've seen that, there are guys who say that, we'll get you your license required to operate. Also, certain these areas, do you feel these agents have come up as there is no regulation, first of all, to deal with it? Because I feel any case corruption is banned in India, right? There's a lot of hue and cry around that, and anybody doing or getting into that activity is punishable by the Indian Penal Code as well. But do you feel there has to be a specific act governing these professions? Because no matter how many laws you promulgate, they still come into picture. So better to regulate them like the Lobbying Act or a commissioning act maybe which governs these individuals who are non-authorized by the government? Do you feel it's better to do that, or do you feel we should completely just have them removed?
So interesting. So now we're covering a couple of topics. One
Yeah.
is you mentioned
Yeah.
about middlemen, and another one is
Yeah.
lobby.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with middlemen first.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a profession. It's a new profession that people have made up. They're running their families. A lot of things are happening.
Yeah.
What can be done? In my point of view, there should not be any middlemen. Because if that is happening,
Yeah.
there is not right education which is going to the end user.
Yeah.
Right. And if that is not happening, whatever that middleman is informing the client, the end user, he's going to believe in that.
Yeah.
And when there is a regulatory action,
Yeah.
let's say in any regard,
Yeah.
taxation, GST, or local licenses,
Yeah.
compliances, anything around that, he's just going to get to his middleman.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, you told me XYZ is going to happen, but ABC is happening. What do I do now? Then that middleman is going to find another opportunity of earning from that end user. That, you know what? Okay, don't worry. You've been stuck into this. I'm going to get you out of it. Give me another 60,000 bucks. Example. Right? Then the end user is going to think, oh, wow. So this is a culture which has been set in our country, and this has been ongoing. You want to get a license, you want to get a car license. Maybe that you did not know that how easy it is to actually go speak to the officer. See, there's a lot of myth, Amber, which has been created also in our country.
Yeah.
Not all people are bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there are some good people
Law of
sitting out there.
exceptions is
They
always
want to
there.
help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But the problem is you don't know whom to approach. You don't know where to go. Right? So if that can happen from the government, automatically these middlemen would not be approached by you, me, or anybody. If it is so simple, I know what are my rights. I know what are my laws. Okay, I want to start this business. ABC has to be done.
Yeah.
There's a right channel department for it.
Yeah.
I have to just approach and get all that information and support which is required. Boom.
No, and similarly, like if you look at that situation, there's a very interesting thing. Like all these agents actually sit right outside the government offices.
Yes.
So I'm pretty much sure there's a percentage of monetary emolument that goes to the concerned officer, or maybe I'm not saying all officers, but they're sitting in their premises, because otherwise, as a common citizen, if you try to enter the premises, you would be booted out.
Yeah.
But these guys keep sitting. Similarly, in a registration office where you go for registration of lease or your tenancy or even your property. I worked in registration office and I've seen a lot of shit happening there. But, the trend is such, it's an industry practice now. Even lawyers follow some industry practices, and those are wrong, and they are criticized also. And, the endeavor is to limit them down. But again, there are so many factors involved in this, right? So I feel the only way to limit them, in case if you incur something like this, is report to the authorities directly. Like I can tell you very clearly that if you're going to get a license made and you've been approached by XYZ individual to get it made, if you actually go and approach the authorities directly, they will deny it and they cannot accept it. So because they'll be on record. So the best way is to go and talk to them directly. I know the fatigue of standing 1 hour in a queue or 2 hours in a queue or 10 days in a queue, but it breaks the chain. Let me tell you this, because you see, no government official and specifically would want to take the blame on them that they are involved into these malpractices, because government does take action when you get to know of these cognizances. But you should try to avoid these. Specifically in the case of driving license, I've seen people from villages, when they turn up, they ask very silly questions because government has not provided adequate mechanisms, and
Yes.
RTO people rule over it, right? So these agents come in and then they make you talk left, right about it. Similarly, if you've seen how the immigration department works, like the private sector side of it, immigration consultants come to you and scare you, on a lot of issues. But I think that's a business and profession tactics. But people do get scared and tend to pay for even the wrong things. Like, someone telling you that, no, I will relocate you to US, pay me just X amount. Well, he doesn't know Trump directly, so I don't think he can help you. Like, he'll just put you probably in some area where you're troubled. So for all those listeners out there, this is a tricky situation. And none of us can deny that we've not helped out or have been in certain situations. But the best way to rule out of it is just follow the law and be in a little queue. It's difficult, but you'll get used to it once that happens. Another interesting part on this, Sandeep, you said about, as we spoke about the fire license issue, right? You were saying that certain things that the entrepreneurs are not aware of.
Yeah.
Could you highlight those as well, for all our listeners, maybe a gist of what you feel on those areas?
Especially on fire licenses.
Yeah, fire licenses, or even the operation of kitchens, or maybe, food and health, labor law regarding, how the employees should be paid and what are the set norms of employment where, entrepreneurs need to look after their employees. Areas around that, maybe if you could highlight,
So sure. So Now, talking about the food industry
Yeah.
in specific,
Yeah.
there's something called a fine dine restaurant, then there's something called QSR,
Yeah.
something called commercial kitchens.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's talk about Mumbai. This is where we live, right?
Yeah.
So, in Mumbai, take a tour and you will see a lot of kitchens operating out of slums.
Yeah.
You will see a lot of kitchens operating out of residential areas.
Yeah.
Now, the authorities need to understand and know something that is that even legit? Operating a commercial kitchen,
Yeah.
I don't even know if they even have gas pipelines or whether they just have gas cylinders. Is that even okay to go?
Okay.
Or is it just okay to go and close them down or talk to the entrepreneur, help him with the right ways to do things?
Mm-hmm.
Can that be considered? So there are things happening.
Yeah.
Right communication channel has to be brought in between the entrepreneurs and the authorities. They need to get on common ground, talk it out, know what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
And then if someone is indulging into wrong, then of course you can hold someone accountable for it. But a lot of people, when they don't even know what has to happen, you can't hold that person responsible 100%.
Yeah, I think that's also another good way that regular checks and stuff is required.
Yeah.
What about the labor side of it? Like, I mean, entrepreneurs hiring young individuals as their business partners or as workforce.
Yeah.
What about their policies? Like, a lot of complaints that come through is that the amount of leaves that are sanctioned or
Yeah.
work-life balance being an issue.
Yeah.
Is there something specific around this which you would like to highlight?
Yeah, so see, there's a lot of passion when you start a business and you want to do everything. You want to work like maximum hours in 24 hours. So from my personal example, when I started off my business, I used to think that sleeping is just a waste of time.
Yeah.
Okay, and I used to just sleep for about 2.5, 3 hours in my 24-hour cycle, and rest of the time was just involved in working. A lot of entrepreneurs think what I am doing, even my team is supposed to do that.
Yeah.
That's not right. Okay, you need to. They have their own rights. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to work Monday to Sunday. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're passionate.
Yeah.
Everything is good. Fantastic. Your business. You're going to generate a ton of money out of
Yeah.
it. You're going to make a name out of it.
Yeah.
X, Y, Z. Your employee who's working for you,
Yeah.
he may be having his own commitments and his own set of things.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurs, you'd be surprised to know that they don't even know that there are X amount of X number of leaves that has to be given to your X, Y, Z employees. They have to work for certain hours of time, right? Somewhere people are pretty strict around it. Like you go to film industry,
Yeah.
they know that they have to work for X amount of hours and then
Yeah.
they have to be paid again.
Yeah.
But a lot of startups on the corporate side or who want to make it big, they don't know about these things again. So once again, they need to get that right knowledge. At least if you cannot afford a fees of a CA firm,
Yeah.
my suggestion is, based on my experiences, get yourself a mentor at least.
Yeah.
We need mentors in various sides of life, right?
Yeah.
We cannot just have one mentor and he can take care of. I may be good with something, I may not be good with something.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty bad with accounting and all.
Yeah.
So get yourself a mentor who's
Yep.
got knowledge in that subject matter expert.
Yeah.
Get yourself that SME
Yeah.
who's going to tell you what's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I think the day you start doing that, it's going to be a lot of help.
I think rightly said, and a lot of these issues which come forth are regarding your choices about what you would want to do. But such professions in India is basically on us as citizens that we need to comply with this. I think the law is only an enforcer, and their idea is to check and punish you for not doing it. So if you are compliant on your own, well, the law would fall in place. I feel so. So because most of us, and I think it's a orientation which we have in the country, right? That law comes secondary to us. We are primarily involved in making a lot of money, and on account of which we do not take into picture our legal issues or what our rights are. And that's the starking difference between, I think the Western countries and us is, and I'm not favoring them. I think India is a very, very good business oriented nation. If we look at how our people are in terms of their entrepreneurial ideas. It's just that the compliance mechanism has been made in such a way, and I'll highlight one of the issues is they first get into the legalities of it, which all of us I'm sure do here as well. But when it comes to small scale businesses where it's a budding idea, we do not look at the legalities, we look at expanding. And during that expansion, we feel that, once we have the money, we can subside other areas and then it'll work in our favor. But the thing is, if you grow as a team, and legally I would talk about it, you're endangering a lot of lives and a lot of careers when you're growing like this. You need to ensure that they are safe as well, because your consequences can have, severe reprimands for these individuals who are joining you. And on that note, Sandeep, thanks a lot for being on the show. And in our next episode, we'll take up the next set of, licensing and compliance related issues for our industries, for our markets, for all those businesses that are looking to flourish, with a new guest with us.
Thank you so much, Amber. Thanks a lot.
One of the listeners has tuned in and listened to us and written in as well on the issue of a traffic challan being issued to him on account of some violation which he did, but it was not issued by the right authority. And I'd highlighted this in my segment of the traffic laws some time back. Well, Arun, to your query, the answer would be that I'm sure if you've committed a violation, please do pay the challan. But the validity of the challan definitely can be questioned if it has not been issued by the correct officer involved. Also, if there is no signature on the challan, it's not validated, so you can dispute the same in the court. But I suggest if you've violated the respective traffic law which was there, do pay up the challan, but do take it up with the respective seniors. The right authority to approach in this would be the traffic division and the commissioner involved there. In case you do not get the recourse from there, you should write into them, or if you cannot find any other alternate source to it, then at the time of payment of challan in the court, you can dispute the same with the respective judge and the magistrate sitting there. But do highlight the point and have the evidence available with you. That's the best way to go about it. And please do not break traffic laws. The other side of it would be that in case the court asks you that you did commit a violation, please do admit to it. Yes, I did commit a violation, but also dispute the authenticity of the challan, because it can only be issued by a ranking officer of a certain degree, which I had spoken about in my traffic laws episode. Very well said, very well done on that, because it's one of those queries which I had never got before. But kindly follow this process, and you can write into me further in case you would want to know how the action works. Thanks for tuning in, and keep writing into us. Thank you for listening to Know Your Kanoon. For more queries and questions, please contact me at contact@corpuslegal.in. Catch Know Your Kanoon every week on the IVM website or the app or anywhere you get your podcast from.
Hi, my name is Anupam Gupta. I'm B50 on Twitter. I am the host of Paisa Vaisa, the show that talks money. On my show, I speak to experts from every field of money and finance, from stock markets, equities, debt funds, credit cards, life insurance, every possible area of money and finance that you can think of. We even did an episode on cryptocurrency. I've got fantastic guests from mutual funds to personal finance experts everywhere. Robo-advisory, startups, just name it, we've got it. At Paisa Vaisa, we help you make smart decisions about money. You work hard for money. Now make your money work hard for you. New episodes out every Monday, and you can listen to my show on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you have.
Did you know that Parsis in Mumbai, instead of being left at the Tower of Silence after they die, are now cremated? And why? Because a cow fell sick in the early 1990s. Did you know that the smog in Delhi is caused by something that farmers in Punjab do, and that there's no way to stop them? Did you know that there wasn't one gas tragedy in Bhopal, but three? One of them was seen, but two were unseen. Did you know that many well-intentioned government policies hurt the people they're supposed to help? Why was demonetization a bad idea? How should GST have been implemented? Why are all our politicians so corrupt when not all of them are bad people? I'm Amit Verma, and in my weekly podcast, The Seen and the Unseen, I take a shot at answering all these questions and many more. I aim to go beyond the seen and show you the unseen effects of public policy and private action. I speak to experts on economics, political philosophy, cognitive neuroscience, and constitutional law so that their insights can blow not only my mind, but also yours. The Seen and the Unseen releases every Monday. So do check out the archives and follow the show at seenunseen.in. You can also subscribe to The Seen and the Unseen on whatever podcast app you happen to prefer.